here's the final part to the Deb Weiers David Bowie portrait. So I'm going to be adding inks and doing all the final touches today. Starting off with a quote on the shirt in white ink, and I'm using acrylic ink with a glass ink pen, just trying it out. It's not really working very well because the paint is soaking up the ink. It's very porous. So I have a bit of a disaster, which I try to rectify. So here, this is always the thing with pen and ink, you know, you're always going to get blobs. So trying to make this big white blob into an N. So the quote I'm putting on is "Never play to the gallery," which is a famous David Bowie quote. When he was talking about his how the direction of his creativity was that he never played to the gallery. He always did his own thing. So yeah, it's a little bit patchy and very blobby. So at this point, I decide that to try to make the best of it, but quickly decide to get a thin paintbrush and do it with the paintbrush. So here we go. So just trying to take the excess paint that's on those big blobs on the E, and just doing the rest of the writing with the little thin paintbrush. And again, just speed it up. So I think it ends up looking readable. Looks quite good. Just then having a little tidy up, and then I decide to add a little bit more pattern to the black of the shirt, just a few dots. Make it a little bit more, break that big black space up a bit. And then using the ink still with the brush, just brightening up the shine on the eyes. And then Deb does have a lot of white outlines, so if you look at the other picture on the other side, around the nose, around the mouth, there's a white outline. Lots of sort of squills around the eyes. So then I just sort of, you know, decide to bite the bullet and start drawing on top of the portrait a la Deb Weiers. So just sort of copying what she's done on the other picture. And then I attempted a bit of a splash. A few swirls. Okay, so then I just decided to go over the other quote. There's a starman waiting in the sky, just with a black fine liner pen, and quite roughly just doing that as quickly as I could. So it's definitely coming together now, definitely looking a little bit more like a Deb Weiers. But I still think it needs to go a bit darker on the face. Needs a little bit more black on there. You can see that she has lots of sort of black fine liner or ink to define everything. So then decide to go in with a black pen again and do a bit more fine lining. Adding a little bit of stripy pattern, which you can see in quite a lot of her pictures. Okay, but it's still not quite dark enough, so taking just some black ink now on a paintbrush and using it in like a bit like a dry brush technique. So it's not very watery, it's just a little bit on the brush, and actually making sort of scratchy movements with the ink, picking up some more ink there to darken up that hand, because it is in the foreground of the picture, so it is going to be a bit more detailed. Just a few swirls, tidying up that lettering with the black ink, and then putting the black line on the Starman slash. And then all I'm doing here is with what was left on my brush with a little bit of water, I decided to darken up some of the surroundings of the David Bowie portrait, just to make him stand out a little bit more and make the whole picture a little bit darker, because it's still not dark enough. So wetting some of the ink I've already put down with a little bit of water, just to make it all a little bit more swarthy, a little bit darker. So just spreading out that ink. So literally just using dirty water here. And then just tidying up the eyes with a bit more black ink. So we're almost there. Just making the jawline and the neck darker. So a bit of ink and then just water spreading it out. And then just going in and putting another layer of white on top, and a little outline on the jaw with the white. And that's about it. I'm quite pleased with it. I think you'd know it was David Bowie if you look at both of those pictures, maybe. I definitely recognise it as a Deb Weiers portrait, or style portrait anyway. So I'm quite pleased with that. I hope you have got a lot from seeing it in its creation and the different stages. Thanks for watching.